What's up, guys? So today I was at the gym and I went to the pool area because it's summertime and there's a lot of people there and there's sun. And so I saw this guy who was literally pretty darn jacked. He was white, but he was really jacked. Not like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but tone jack, like the perfect amount in my opinion. A little bit more than I would want, but I was like, man, I want to be like him. And he had these huge pecs. Um, I would say he looked a lot like, if I had to compare him to some celebrity, Justin Gaston, who dated Miley Cyrus a few years back. I know that's a strange analogy, but he looked a lot like that guy, and it was kind of eerie. But I would say um, he was more jacked. He had bigger biceps, more defined pecs, and so forth. And so, after a decent amount of working up the courage, and also doing my own thing because I was preoccupied with stuff as well, I went up to him and I literally just told him, and like, I think you're really jacked. How can I be as jacked as you one day? And he gave me some pretty good advice that I would like to share and help you guys out. And the biggest thing was that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And he said that a lot of people think that you could go to the gym and work out hard for 3 hours and that sort of stuff will get you somewhere. But he revealed what he did, and he says he was 27. He's been doing this since he was in high school, and he would just do about an hour a day of working out, and he says that's perfectly reasonable, and he thinks anyone could do that. And when I prodded a little further, he said that he would do aerobic exercise too, which I think is very useful. And he said he'd do a lot of stuff from running to swimming, whatever he liked. And he said he would, roughly swim for 30 minutes and um, maybe work out in the weight room for 45 minutes. And I do think that aerobic, if you had to choose, um, aerobic is more helpful to your body because of all the health classes I've taken that have reinforced this, especially exercise physiology, which was literally all about that. You see all these things and diagrams showing that aerobic exercise really did all these beneficial things to your heart, such as strengthen the size, thickness, and strength of the walls of the heart. And anaerobic or resistance training did so to a slight extent, but nowhere near what aerobic did, and obviously better than just lethargic behavior, which was no activity. And so they compare these different hearts, and you see these effects over time. But the long story short is, yeah, I was very much astounded, and it's very clear that his whole point was that consistent training over a long extended period of time will work out to what his results were. And it just aligns with all the bodybuilders I've seen, especially Scooby on YouTube, who has sort of expressed this topic on a tremendous amount of occasions. And what he was saying was like, he did this one video on YouTube where he literally showed you how much consistent working out for a whole year would get you in terms of muscular gain. And it was literally like this much. He held out a soda bottle, and it was literally that much. And he was saying how that much spread across your whole body isn't going to be a significant gain, but over the years that will add up to a tremendous amount. And so I think that's the biggest thing. People would rather do something where they would spend 3 hours just pumping it out once per week, and that is not as effective as something one would argue is more easy and comfortable on you, which is an hour every day of aerobic and resistance training. And a lot of people aren't willing to do this because they hate going to the gym, they're not motivated enough, And those are two things you can fix. You have to change your mentality and enjoy the process. And slash or you have to like going to the gym and find more ways to motivate yourself. And sometimes that motivation really just comes from your environment, and it's tough to change for some people, and some people really have that and they're just misguided on how to go from there. And literally all you have to do is either find that motivation and realize that it's better to do this sort of thing. And it's that consistency that a lot of people fail to do because they're lazy and they can't force themselves to go to the gym. It's kind of strange. It's literally similar to the analogy of would you rather work like 2 hours per day for 7 days a week, or 8 hours per day for 5 days per week? I know that's not the perfect analogy, but the point is, a lot of people would rather do a tremendous amount and make it a sprint because they always want the easy way out. It's the same thing with money. They want to get rich quick. They want to get buff quick. And after a lot of thinking, I definitely think that I'm very happy that about how the world works in these sort of ways in terms of money generally and muscular gain. Obviously there's exceptions. There's people who win the lottery and there's people who do steroids. But generally, I feel like the people who aren't slackers and willing to put in the time and consistency every day or every other day for many years on end without fail deserve the results. And a lot of people just aren't willing to do that. They'd rather just try to sprint it out, which ends up hurting them. And obviously it's something we can all work on and improve on, myself included. And that's literally what I wanted to express to all you guys out there. It was an amazing thing I learned, and it's tough. And I think one of the biggest excuses is, oh, I don't have the time, or I don't want to drive to the gym. It takes 30 minutes to drive there every day. I would rather just go to the gym once or twice. That way I save gas and spend a few more hours there. But that's not going to help as much. And although often people will trick themselves and say, I put in so much more work, it's so much harder spending 3 or 4 hours at the gym. Like, that's great and stuff, but that sort of stuff burns you out and sometimes prevents you from what's more helpful, which is consistent training, even if it's a shorter amount of time. And for those super beginners out there, rather than an hour every day, you could do half an hour or 20 minutes or 15 minutes every day, as long as you're legitimately putting in the time and effort. And that's not that hard. And that's all I really wanted to say, and I think it's a lesson to you all. And again, I forgot to mention the solution to one of the solutions to that sort of car dilemma is realizing that you don't need, if you're just doing aerobic exercise like jogging, you don't need to drive 30 minutes to the gym to jog. Literally, I see a lot of people who make all these excuses. Oh, I can't do, the gym is so much nicer, it's cooler breeze. You can jog in your neighborhood, and there's plenty of excuses. Oh, I'll be robbed and blah blah blah. Not always. Most of the time though, like you live in a pretty safe neighborhood and so forth, and your excuses lie on inconsequential, selfish, frivolous things like, oh, it'd be cooler in the gym has water, blah 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 blah. But when you literally could just jog outside, and it's tough, from experience I know it's tough to do that sort of stuff or get rid of those excuses yourself, but you can definitely do it, and we'll all work towards it. And that's all I really want to say. So as always, if you like these sort of videos, leave it a like, comment below, and I'll see you in my next video, and hit the subscribe button to be notified of my next video. See you.